Damn, so it seems like it's a wrap for Lorenzo Tejada. I was trying to come up with like ideas and theories of maybe he can be potentially saved, but damn, it's like it's already too late. It's Gordon got him, and he was like, this was for what you did to my father Frank, because after when Monet told Frank's wife or ex-wife about like, oh, Lorenzo was the one to put out the hit on Frank, and it was just like, oh, and you wouldn't expect her not to say anything, but she had to tell her son like, hey, listen, he killed your father. He was like, all right, bet, and then killed him right where like Zeke's more. I was like, ooh, that's even dirty and cold. And the only person that's gonna know that happened, the whole planning and stuff will be Kane, because Kane would have already suspected like, oh, Monet known about the whole like Lorenzo and Zeke thing, but then which is gonna make things even worse, because he's gonna figure out, okay, who was the one to even giving her this information in the first place. And yeah, you could say Davis, but it was ultimately Tariq to uncover the thing. It was just like, no, he wasn't in DR. So I mean, that would kind of like put back the heat, where it'd be like, oh, so you told him this, and this is why she went and did that. But see, Monet already had her suspicions, because Davis already given her like the case file about like, oh, like basically Lorenzo's fingerprints was there on the night of Zeke's death. So she would have already had like the information and proof right there to say that, yeah, he had something to do with like Zeke's death. So damn, it was already game over for Lorenzo. I was like, damn, last week's episode you had Whitman, now this week's episode you have Lorenzo's death. So Jesus. And then once when all of this information gets out, like, hey, she technically had him killed. I am kind of wondering, like, will Monet actually go to jail? Will they actually? Because now it's starting to look really possible that she could maybe go to jail, because if Diana felt like she made the wrong like choice and the wrong call of actually helping Monet, and then if she finds out about it, I think Diana's gonna be the one to put the nail in Monet's coffin and send her to jail. That's what I think could happen, because and if that does happen, then you would have like Kane and Drew kind of like going to be the ones that's going to be head of the family, because they're going to be in charge of things. So I was just like, Jesus, man, like it's going to be crazy. Then I like the fact that both like Drew and Gordon, they was doing some undercover work, and they was trying to like get to the CI to figure out like, oh, like did the CI was the CI like still alive? And then they found out it was just like, oh, he already died. But then they had to get his phone and information, because they had pictures of him, Lorenzo, Kane, Brady, like they had all of that. So they paid off the nurse, broke the phone, erased the images, and got rid of it. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's great. But now it's gonna be interesting, because Gordon and Drew, they like each other, but now he's technically sleeping with the enemy, because he was the one to have killed his father in retaliation, because it was like, oh, they found that Frank was a snitch. So basically Kane killed Frank. So now it's gonna make things even worse, because they're going to have this family feud, which is going to be crazy. And who knows, maybe from in the trailer, that was the family feud, or it could have been somebody else. But it could have been like the whole family feud, because Frank's wife and Monet and Frank's wife, they was basically saying that they didn't want to have this feud, but unfortunately the feud is gonna still happen. So I'm like, Jesus, man, this shit gonna be crazy. But yeah, man, oh my God, yo, this episode was crazy. Then you had like Noma, and they was in Italy, and he was like, what you doing here? And he said, oh, Americans, all these Americans, like, how do we talk to us? And she was basically telling him, she was just like, listen, I need you to get inside like I guess like, what was it, Lombardi's party mansion thing? And it was just like, oh, because Mecca had like this recording, and they had to get rid of the recording, because for reasons, and because the whole death and information, and apparently like Noma and this guy, they was together. I guess that was her ex-husband. So Braden gets captured trying to get the recording. Effie gets the recording, and then they figure a way of like saving Braden. So once when they do like the exchange, like I'm telling you, this is why I said it makes things so interesting, because Noma yo, she had like sniper ops, and then she came in herself, her and Obi. I was like, yo, check this out. I'm like, yo, they was like chilling like on some mountaintop, took out the guys. I was like, yo, this is crazy. But then Effie does like her research, and she finds out that that basically that this like her, like Noma and him, that was the baby father, and apparently Noma has a daughter somewhere. So they're like, we gotta figure out like maybe if we track down her daughter, then maybe we can get out of this, because she was basically already saying like, y'all doing a pretty good job. I could see our future extending for a long period of time. And then Tariq is just like, man, he got plans, but they all got plans, but they can't escape because Noma is talking about we're gonna be working together for life. We're forever partners. And I'm like, oh God. Like, but the one thing I kind of was getting upset about, because it was like, well, how the hell Brayden basically was like listening to music, and he do like the most dumbest thing and drop the phone. The phone falls out his pocket, and then you have Kiki. She picks up the phone and then she starts looking, and it's just saying like, like countercoin and this and that. I'm just like, why would you sit there and do that? But yeah. It was crazy, because I'm like, yo, why would you sit there, drop the phone, and then she picks it up, and then it's just like, it's only gonna be a matter of time until she asks questions like, Brayden, like, what was this about? And then he gonna have no choice but to explain and be like, it was this, and it was that. So he's gonna have a time on there, and Kiki would probably be on board, or if not, she probably, no, because she seems like she might be on board. The way how she was moving, and like talking to like Brayden and this and that, I mean, there's a possibility that she probably might be on board of what they're doing. Who knows, right? Whew. And then then we got Sax and Jenny. See, Jenny, you know what the problem is when it comes down to like the feds and everybody. If nobody's not on board with each other, and if you're not like telling the truth or even working together, then what's going to be the point? Because he's just like, yo, you're not giving me all this leeway, you using me, you know, I trusted you, I'm getting all this information, and you not saying nothing. And that's when he was like, oh my God, Lauren is alive. And that's when he told her, he was just like, the way how Tariq was upset about her death, he really loved her. And then she found out, like, is this true? Jenny's still lying. No, he wanted you dead. The Tejadas, they all wanted you dead. And it's just like, no, that's not how it was. Really, how it really happened was Effie wanted her gone so that way Effie could be with Tariq. That's what it really was. But now that we seen at the end that Lauren secretly meets with Tariq, that's when he's just like, yo, like, you know, I didn't know what this happened. They lied to me. So now he's gonna have to get the truth out of both of them to be like, yo, what happened? Why did you lie to me? He may or may not say anything about Lauren's death, because it's like she's still under like federal protection. And she basically told him, she's like, listen, like the feds, I'm with the feds, they looking into y'all, this and that, and he's gonna have like he's gonna be stuck. He's basically gonna be stuck for a little while, because now I'm like, what he gonna do with all this information? And like I said, somebody's gonna have to get pinned for this. Somebody gonna get jailed for this, because I'm like, now you have Lorenzo's death, then you have Whitman's death, and then you got like Norma, who's seeing like long-term futures with like Tariq, Brayden, Effie. You know, she sees like a long-term history with them, and I'm like, I don't think that's gonna happen for that much longer if they figure out like, where can they find her daughter? But that's the thing. It's like Norma got guys everywhere. She has intel, she has information, so it's like it's gonna be really tricky to like get Norma this season, because we haven't seen her that much compared to like everybody else from like past Power episodes. Like we like last season, like Mecca was everywhere. This season, Norma's not really everywhere as much. Like we barely seen her, so I'm like, okay, how are they gonna find her daughter, and how are they actually gonna execute this plan? And on top of that, who's going to get jailed this season? That's like the real big question, because I'm telling you, once when they find out that Monet has something to do with Lorenzo's death, oh my God, it's a wrap. And the only person that's going to know the truth is going to be Kane. Kane is going to be the only one that's going to know the truth. And I think Diana's going to become Dre. I feel like Diana's going to have that inner Dre in her. She's going to be the one that's snitching. Well, she did it before, but she's going to have that inner Dre in her. She's going to be, nah, fuck this. Monet has to go. And then I think if that happens, then it's just going to be, you know, Kane, Drew, and Diana going to be running things. One parent is dead, one parent is in jail, which I see. I can kind of see that, right? And then it's gonna be quite interesting. But I was like, damn, I was trying to think of like ideas, so like, oh, maybe he can live, maybe he cannot, but it is what it is, and Lorenzo is basically dead at this point, and Tariq is fucked. He's emotionally fucked, mentally fucked, you know. And on top of that, the conversation that he had with RSJ, where RSJ was explaining to him that his father used to run numbers, and then Tariq was just like, you know, I barely knew my father, and I'm like, oh no, oh no. Part of that is true. Part of it, okay, I give you that. Part of it is true, but part of it's not. So I'm like, oh yeah, let me know in the comment section down below from that part that he said, was that ghost for me? Because I'm like, I don't know. The way Tariq was talking, I'm like, I don't know. But yo, that shit, this episode was crazy good. It was crazy good, and I can't wait to see what's gonna happen. Because from in the trailer, we see that, I guess, like, they had the funeral, and then we seen like Kane having like Lorenzo's chain around his neck. So I guess that's indicating that they was at Lorenzo's funeral, and you know, I guess so. I guess either Zeke's funeral or Lorenzo's funeral, but I think it's probably maybe Lorenzo's funeral that they was probably at. And man, this is gonna be crazy because now Kane and Drew is gonna have to step it up. They both gonna have that, and I think that's what they're kind of leaning to. That Drew is smart, Kane is the muscle. He's like, Kane can be smart if he's like stirred in the right direction, but Drew is the one to have the brains of the operation. So I think they're gonna lean to like maybe a Drew and Kane. They're gonna be like really getting close and working together. And if Monet is actually in jail or she's gone, then I don't think she's gonna die, but I feel like she probably might get jailed or something. But whew, man, this shit was crazy good. I can't wait for next week's episode because damn, Lorenzo's death is just wow. And then Gordon and Drew, oh my god. But comment down below what you think. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I'll catch you all in the next one.